Have you ever kind of made a concept for a deck before, and then a couple sets later, it gets more support, and then it really pops off? Well, that happened to me with Regidrago. I used to be a huge fan of Arceus V-Star, Regidrago V-Star. I used stuff like Hisuian Gudra, I used Gouging Fire EX, I used Raging Bolt EX, and honestly, it was a super fun deck. What ended up happening though was that the deck was just not fast enough to keep up with the current meta. Mew VMAX was all over the place and absolutely destroyed the list. And honestly, it just didn't have the power and consistency to get there. Over the weekend, NAIC happened, and we got a Regidrago finish. Regidrago actually placed 14th in NAIC, and that's huge because there was a total number of 2,692 players. So not only did this deck day 2, but it also got in like top 16. Welcome to Poke Primer, my name is Voiddyn, and today we're going to be going over Regidrago VStar. Regidrago VStar is a dragon type Pokemon with 280 HP and has a very unique attack to it, Apex Dragon. For 2 grass and a fire, you can choose an attack from one of your dragon Pokemon in your discard and use it as this attack. Now this is a little different from normal decks that we go over because you're going to be running a lot of stage 2 or stage 1 Pokemon that you don't have the base forms of. Stuff like Hisuian Gudra V-Star and things like Noivern EX are going to go straight into the discard. Note, Regidrago V-Star is not going to work unless you have another dragon type into the discard. So because of this, a lot of people consider this deck to brick. Or, in layman's terms, it means it doesn't function correctly and you get stuck with a lot of dead cards in your hand. But it's not that bad, and as long as we play cards correctly and sequence things okay, we'll be able to get awesome attacks off with Regidrago V-Star. The attacks you're going to be looking to copy with Regidrago V-Star mainly come from Dragapult EX, Hisuian Gudra V-Star, Raging Bolt EX, and Noivern EX. Let's go into each one individually to talk about what they bring to the table. So starting with Dragapult EX, you get to copy Phantom Dive. Phantom Dive deals 200 damage and puts 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench any way you'd like. Dragapult was one of the most hyped cards in the current format coming out of Twilight Masquerade. But while it did see a bunch of tournament results, it really couldn't beat the onslaught of Gardevoirs in the current format. It looks like Regidrago V-Star might be the home for Dragapult EX because Regidrago V-Star can take advantage of the Phantom Dive attack. While this may not be the Dragapult EX deck we expected, it's definitely a pretty good one. The next attacker we have is Hisuian Gudra V-Star. Hisuian Gudra V-Star has the attack Rolling Iron, which deals 200 damage, but also prevents the next 80 damage during your opponent's next turn. Hisuian Gudra V-Star has always been one of my favorite cards, and honestly this attack is great. Being able to do 200 damage is very respectable, and also preventing 80 damage the next turn is huge against other decks as well. Being able to mess with decks that are very precise about attacking, such as Chen Pao or Raging Bolt, can definitely make it extremely hard for your opponent to knock out your active Pokemon. After that, we have Raging Bolt EX. Raging Bolt EX has the attack Burst Roar, which lets you discard your hand and draw 6 cards. This really isn't the attack that's normally used in this list, but if your Raging Bolt's stuck in the active, at least you can start getting your engine online to be able to use attacks out of the discard. Bellowing Thunder is another big attack which allows you to discard basic energy from your Pokemon, and it does 70 damage for each card you discarded this way. We'll go into more detail about Bellowing Thunder when we talk about Teal Mask Ogerpon right after this. Your last attacker is Noivern EX. Noivern EX's attacks are Covert Flight, which does 70 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage to this Pokemon done by attacks from basic Pokemon. This attack can absolutely win you a game. Covert Flight is huge to stop you from losing to decks such as Future Box. Future Box only runs basic Pokemon. Other lists, such as Raging Bolt, also only run basic Pokemon, so honestly, this is a huge win if you're able to attack with this every turn. The other attack, Dominating Echo, deals 140 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, they cannot play any special energy or stadium cards from their hand. Note this is pretty good, but this may not be the meta that this sees play. Honestly, we're not as special energy focused right now, and the stadium effect doesn't really help as much in the current standard. But down the line, I definitely see how this could see play. Now onto talking more about Raging Bolt EX as well as Teal Mask Ogerpon. One of the big engines of this deck is utilizing Teal Mask Ogerpon's Teal Dance ability. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Grass Energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. If you attached an energy to a Pokemon this way, draw a card. This allows you to kind of filter cards off the top of your library to make sure that you can draw more cards, as well as act as energy accelerant to pair with Raging Bolt EX's Bellowing Thunder. More energy on the board means more that you can discard with Raging Bolt, dealing more damage. Although, one of the biggest things that you can do with this is allow you to accelerate and use Energy Switch to transfer energy from your Teal Mask Ogerpon onto your Regidrago VStar. Because of this, you always want to manually attach Fire Energy and always get ready to use the Grass Energy on Teal Mask Ogerpon if you can. Now that we've gone over the huge amount of attackers that this list can have and all the different variances of it, let's talk about the deck list. You're going to be running 18 Pokemon. You'll be running 4 Regidrago V, 3 Regidrago VStar, 4 Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, 2 Dragapult EX, 1 Hisuian Goodra VStar, 1 Cleffa, 1 Raging Bolt EX, 1 Noivern EX, and 1 Mew EX. For trainers, you're going to be running 30. You'll be running 4 Professor's Research, 3 Boss's Orders, 2 Iono, 1 Penny, 4 Energy Switch, 4 Earthen Vessel, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Nest Ball, 2 Superior Energy Retrieval, 1 Switch, and 1 Prime Catcher. For energy, you'll be running about 12. You'll be running 9 Grass Energy and 3 Fire Energy. While the deck may look super complex when you first look at it, it's kinda simple. What you're going to do is you're going to try to set up 2 Regidrago Vs while benching Teal Mask Ogerpons as well. If you get stuck and you need to draw right away, Cleffa is definitely the way to go. You're going to be discarding a lot of cards, so you can use Grasping Draw a lot in this list, and it also has free retreat. So early game, Cleffa's attacks might be really key. On top of that, you have Mew EX to help you refill your hand, and when in doubt, you can always use its genome hacking. It probably will never come up, but never say never. Make sure you search for your Pokemon that you want to discard before you use stuff like Professor's Research. So go heavy with your Ultra Balls, trying to find stuff such as Noivern EX, Dragapult EX, and Hisuian Goodra VStar. Getting these cards out of the deck is crucial because you don't want to draw into them late game because they do nothing in your hand unless you have a way to discard them. Earthen Vessels will be your friend here because you want to be able to find that Grass Energy in your deck or that extra Fire Energy you need and use Teal Dance to attach. Also, when you search your deck, make sure you see what cards are still in your deck that you can use as attackers. If Hisuian Goodra VStar is prized, make sure you plan around that. Same with Dragapult, Raging Bolt, Noivern EX. All of these could be in your prize cards, and if they're in your prize cards, that's one less attacker that you could have. You very much don't want to attack with Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. If you absolutely need to, the option is there, but you're aggressively going to be going for energy switches to make sure your Regidrago VStars can attack by turn 2 or 3. Also, you really don't want to overextend. Raging Bolt EX's Bellowing Thunder is very strong, but unless you're going for a knockout with it, understand that you're going to be missing those energies with very little ways to get them back. Make sure your superior energy retrievals are very much worth it. You don't want to get less than 4 if you actually can help it. On top of that, we did forget to talk about one thing. Regidrago VStar has a V-Star power called Legacy Star. Legacy Star is an ability that says during your turn, you may discard the top 7 cards of your deck. Then, put up to 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. When you first tackle the deck, you may want to use Regidrago VStar to get stuff back such as Superior Energy Retrieval, Prime Catcher, Penny, things that really help you stop losing the game. You don't want to rely on this for setup, especially when you're first getting started with the deck. Understand that you may lose a bunch of games learning how to set up, and that's okay. The list is definitely not easy to start with, but once you get the hang of it, these types of lists will come very naturally to you. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you use Regidrago VStar's V-Star power, Legacy Star, don't use it to get yourself set up until you're comfortable with the deck and understand how much you have to lose. Legacy Star should be used later on when you're trying to get back resources. Understand though, deck count is an issue, so don't get yourself milled down to 0 by using Legacy Star. So overall, let's go over it one last time because we said a lot of stuff in this video. Get yourself 2 Regidrago VStars set up. Get some Teal Mask Ogerpon set up, proudly 2. Make sure Dragapult EX, Hisuian Goodra V-Star, Raging Bolt, and Noivern are in your discard, and make sure they're not in your prizes. If they're in your prizes, you're gonna have to kind of work around some stuff to make sure it works. Get yourself some draw with either Cleffa or Mew EX, but just basically get yourself set up. You want to try to accelerate to Regidrago VStar as soon as possible. Once you get stuck later on in the game and you feel like you're running out of resources, you can always Legacy Star to grab stuff that you need. Whether it's Energy Switch to make sure that you can get an energy off of an Ogerpon to a Regidrago, Superior Energy Retrieval to get your energy back, a Switch to get something out of the active, or a Prime Catcher to try to win the game. Honestly, that's going to be the difference between a good player and a great player. I hope you guys enjoyed this video talking about Regidrago VStar. It's way different than when I built RC as a V-Star in the E block, and honestly that's okay. This list seems a lot more fun to play overall, and honestly it's super fun. If you guys enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more like it, feel free to drop a sub. If you liked the video, give it a like and leave a comment telling me on which deck you want to see next. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you all soon.